Peace and power, beloved family. Peace and blessings. Peace, love, and light. Grand rising to each and every one of you. Greetings, everyone. Peace, power, and love, beloved Soul Awakening Sanctuary family. Welcome to another powerful live stream session with the Soul Awakening Sanctuary movement. I'm your host, Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael, Chief High Priestess, Global Spiritual Leader, Teacher of African Cosmology, and your guide into the deeper dimensions of a divine purpose and sacred power. If you're new here, welcome home. And if you've been walking with me, you already know. In this space, we go deeper, we heal, we decolonize, and we activate. You've just entered into a sacred and safe space where we heal, decolonize, and activate. We are here showing the way how to deconstruct from harmful religion, indoctrination, dogma, colonization, teaching those who are ready to walk away from the shackles, the mental shackles, the invisible shackles that have been placed on us. We're here showing the way how to step by step walk into spiritual liberation. So if that sounds like you, that speaks to your soul, welcome into this space where you can experience spirituality from an expanded consciousness perspective. Because our mission here is to awaken the minds of humanity, one mind at a time. So welcome in, everybody, wherever you're from. Wherever you're watching from, greet us. Let us know in the comments. Greet us. We'd love to hear from you. And before we dive into today's powerful message, do me a favor, like this video. Everybody, I want you to like this video. Like, press the hearts, tap the screen, share this live, tag a friend, tag a neighbor, tag someone in the comments who needs a little boost, encouragement on their spiritual journey to awakening the divine within them. And if you're watching the replay, drop replay crew in the comments chat. If you're ready to rise boldly in your calling, I want you to type in the comment section, I'm divinely appointed and anointed. If today you're ready to step into your divine purpose, return to your ancestral roots, return to your God-given gifts, talents, and abilities, I want you to write in the chat, I am divinely anointed and appointed. Greetings, everybody. Greetings, Dynasty. Greetings, Love 3. Greetings, I am Will. Welcome, everybody. Welcome into this sacred and safe space where everyone is welcome, no matter your background, your ethnicity, creed, color, religion. Spiritual greetings. Greetings, Yaisha. So good to see you again today. Dynasty, Sean, and Tel, greetings. So happy to have you all with us today. So tap that screen, share this live to as many people as possible. Tag a neighbor, tag a friend in the comments. We want to invite as many people as possible to come into the room so that they can hear this wonderful series in which we started last Friday, in which we're continuing. Today is installment number 3 of our Spirituality 101 series. Our new series is Spirituality 101. And the topic for today's installment is the God they gave you versus the power that you were born with. I'm going to say that again because that sounds good to me. The topic of today's live stream session and episode is the God they gave you versus the power you were born with. The subtopic we're going to deal with today is breaking the spell of spiritual amnesia and reclaiming your divine identity. Breaking the spell of spiritual amnesia and reclaiming your divine identity. So come on in. We got a treat today. We're going to be continuing to break up, to rewire our brains, unlearn the lies, the programming, the conditioning. Because if you don't believe you've been conditioned and you've been programmed, honey, so many ways we've been programmed by what we've seen on television, television. We've been programmed by what we've seen. The books have been introduced to us from childhood, the pictures. From school, from home, from church, all these things have programmed us. And belief systems were imposed upon us that we did not question. And so now, being that we're trying to spiritually awaken and return to our ancestral roots and power to reconnect to our divine identity, we have to begin to look at all of the belief systems, all the things that we've been programmed with, all of the conditioning, the way we've been given to believe, our worldview that has been given to us. We have to look at all of it and answer this major question. Is this something I truly believe, or is this something that has been imposed upon me? Is this something that speaks to my life, speaks to my purpose, speaks to where I'm going? Does this resonate with my soul? Is it in alignment with me, or is it something I need to shed away, something I need to let go of, something I need to remove out of my life? Because instead of helping me reach my goal, it is hindering me. And once you answer that question, then you begin to do the work of shifting your paradigm, do the work of rewiring your internal system, rewiring your brain, your mind, having a mindset shift. That is what we are here for, to assist all those who are ready to walk in their path that's in alignment with their soul. Thank you, Chanel, for sharing the live. Everybody, please tap the screen, share the live, press those hearts, tap, 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 till the confetti goes all over. Help us out. This is one way you can support this sacred work. Thank you so much for joining us. Some of you may be on your lunch break. We're glad that you stopped in. And remember, if you can't stay for the duration of the live, we are simultaneously live streaming on TikTok and YouTube. So you can always go to YouTube at Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael, and you can see all of the live streams, all of the teachings, all of the different hours and hours upon hours of sacred teachings about spirituality from an expanded consciousness perspectives, African cosmology, New Thought philosophy, ancestral wisdom. It's all there to watch at your leisure. And if you would like to give to this work, you can do so No seed is too great or too small to support this spiritual movement. We appreciate it because every contribution helps us to continue to expand our work and awakening our people to return back to themselves. Because for so long, we've been lied to. For so long, we have been fed half-truths that have been destructive to our divinity, have been destructive to our communities. And now we're trying to rectify that. Because you cannot expect the systems that broke you, the systems that held you hostage, the system that has caused you to be in the mess that you're in to help you fix it. We have to take the initiative to do the work so that we can repair our bridges, that we can strengthen our communities. But we have to do that from within. We have to stop looking externally to every other community to support and help us. We have to look within and see what are those divine innate gifts and powers we've been blessed with from birth and begin to put it to good use. Not to allow our spiritual gifts and our divine purpose to be a pawn in someone else's scheme, but us to be liberated and walk powerfully and boldly in our purpose. So as we begin our topic today, remember the topic today is Spirituality 101, Part 3, the God they gave us versus the power you were born with. That's our topic today. Breaking the spell of spiritual amnesia and reclaiming your divine identity. So they told you God is love. They told you that Jesus died for you. See, those things that we were taught, programmed as a child. They said God is love. But then they turned around and said that God will burn you forever if you don't worship him back. They said that Jesus died for you. Yet they turned around and used his name to justify child enslavement, colonization, and control. They said that God gave you free will, but then turned around and said if you use that free will to think differently, you're condemned to hell. Isn't that a paradox? Isn't that something? But let me ask you something real. Let's get to the brass tacks. Who benefits from that version of God that has been given to us? Who really benefits? You or the oppressor? That is the question to ask. Who benefits from that version of God that you were given? Because it's definitely not you. Because here yet 400 years later, we're still trying to get up from underneath the spell called organized religion, the spell called colonization, the spell called white supremacy. And so today we are breaking the spell of spiritual amnesia. Greetings, Queen Next. Thank you for being here and for joining us today. So today we are breaking the spell of spiritual amnesia because the God they gave you was never about your liberation. Let me say that again. The God they gave our ancestors here in chattel enslavement, the God that they gave to our ancestors, that the missionaries gave when they came to our indigenous lands, that God that they gave us was never about your liberation. It was never about setting you free. It was never about setting you up for success. It was about domination and control. The version of God that they gave you was never about your liberation. It was never about your healing. It was never about your expansion. It was about control. It was about control. The version of God that they gave you was all about control. All about control. And so today, we are breaking the spell of spiritual amnesia. So, as we begin our session today, let's talk about the manufactured God that's been given to us. Let's start there. Greetings, Pastor Sheila. Greetings. Well, here we got a white colonized oppressor in here talking about teaching African cosmology is pure nonsense and whining. See, that's what happens when white supremacy comes into a space about liberation. They come still spewing the same rhetoric they've been spewing for eons of time. And they hate to look in the mirror and see, yes, my ancestors did this. And it's something I need to do about it. Though all are welcome into this room, if you are not here to learn about liberation, decolonizing your faith, this is not the room for you. FYI, just so you know. Greetings, Apostle Essence Ball. So we are beginning today talking about the manufactured God that has been given to us. So let's take it back to history, or properly the records of our past. Because remember, history is written by the conqueror. It is not written by the conquered. It is their version, corrupted version of our records of the past. So you got to be careful when people are telling you, oh, this is history. Do your thorough research. Because remember, I said on the other day on our earlier installments of the series, I give the example that the Muslims, when they go to masjid, when they go to prayer, they leave their shoes at the door with their sanity intact. But when the Christian goes to church, they leave their critical thinking skills, they leave their intelligence, they leave their education and everything at the door. And then their mind is filled with fairy tales, half truths, and here is why we're here today. Because sometimes I wonder, as educated as some people are, they are yet going to these supposed sacred spaces. Yet they're teaching a colonized version of spirituality, a colonized version of God, a colonized version of their own identity. Isn't that something? And let me say this while we at it. It is not melanated people, black and brown communities' agenda. It is not our responsibility to fix the problem with the world or with the USA as it relates to white supremacy. That is not our job. To make them understand the gravity that their ancestors and the atrocity their ancestors committed. That's not our job. It is their job to deal with their issues of white supremacy. But it is our job to learn the records of our past and begin to recover our divine memory, to return back to our ancestral practices that has been stolen from us, truth suppressed from us, and told us that it was evil, it was ungodly, unholy, and gave us a colonized version of God and spirituality to keep us disconnected from true power and disconnect us from each other. Let me say this, because the oppressor got in the comments. Now I need to say something. Let me say this. Isn't it funny that, and it's really not, that every other people that have, other brown communities that have experienced colonization, take our Latin brothers and sisters, they experienced colonization. But the difference in them and us, their families was not utterly destroyed. They did not have to give up their language. They did not have to give up their name. They did not have to give up so much things that our ancestors did when they were uprooted from their indigenous land and brought to different islands, brought to Jamaica, West Indies, brought to the USA, brought to Europe. And so in order to go forward, that's why we call our podcast the Sankofa Sessions Podcast. To go back and fetch it. You have to go back and look at the records of your past in order to get clarity and perspective for the future. Because if you don't know where you come from and what your ancestors went through to get where you are, you will not know the blueprint to get to the future. That's why a lot of Caucasians get upset when they hear us talking about the true records of the past, because it is a reminder of the atrocities that their ancestors created. Because when you look at all of the evils of the world and you trace it back to who started it, yeah, come back and talk to me. Once you did that study, come investigate that, come back and talk to me. So we got to look at the records of our past. So let's go back to history. Talk about the manufactured God they gave us. Because when the colonizers, those of European empires, when they sent the soft soldiers, which was missionaries, then they sent the strong soldiers, which was their military soldiers. And they came to our lands, indigenous lands all over. They didn't just take our resources, our minerals, our oil, our gold. That's not all they took. They didn't just steal our resources. They didn't just steal our land. But they got the main thing that kept us united. The main thing that kept us focused on the main thing. that kept us tied to each other, to ourselves, and to the universe, cosmos, to the creator. It was they stole our spirituality, our spiritual identity. That is what they stole. That is what is most precious. They stole our spiritual identity. Greetings, Sabrina. Thank you for being here. Everybody, as you come in the room, please tap the screen and share this slide out. So they stole our spiritual identity. They erased our names. If you've never seen Roots, the original Roots, or the derivative thereof, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a depiction of what, not even a good equivalent, but it gives you some idea of what our ancestors did. If you read the book, How to Make a Slave, then you begin to see. They erased our names. See, our Latin brothers and sisters, their name wasn't erased. They may have taken, quote unquote, Christian names, but they still had their original names. But for our ancestors, they erased our name. They took it. Because the land and the people, the land is known by the name of its occupants. So they erased our name and gave us, quote unquote, biblical names, quote unquote, Christian names. So when they baptized us, they took us, erased our names and gave us what they call, quote unquote, Christian names, biblical names. This is all about how to steal our spiritual identity. Greetings, Tiffany Smells. Thank you for the follow. Greetings, Detective T. It's good to see you, beloved. So they erased our names, gave us biblical names. They erased our rituals that kept us strong, rituals that helped us stay fortified as a people. They erased our rituals and gave us hymns. Hymns like Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. What is a wretch? What the hell is that? Where'd that come from? I once was lost, but now I'm found. How was you lost? Did you go in the woods, in the forest, and got lost? And who found you? Where they found you at? So they gave us these hymns to confuse us. That's right, Sabrina. People ain't so lost now. So they erased our names, gave us biblical names. They erased our rituals, gave us hymns to indoctrinate us. The hymns we sung indoctrinated us. The Bible we read indoctrinated us. The church and the preachers indoctrinated us. So they erased our rituals, gave us hymns. They erased our ancestors and gave us saints. St. Matthew, St. Mark, St. Luke, St. John. So we can revere them. Let's use an example. I can talk about this so long. You know how Christians like to say you should honor your ancestors? That's an abomination. That's evil. However, they name a church called St. Mark, St. Matthew, St. Mary. They name these church after these quote unquote saints. That is ancestor veneration, beloved. But we can't see it because we got the colonized lens on. We got to take it off. See for what it's worth. Ancestor veneration comes in many forms. That's right. But when we do it, it's evil. It's unholy. It's ungodly. It's an abomination. When are we going to wake up? Open our eye and see what's going on. See that we've been bamboozled, hoodwinked. The wool was pulled over our eyes. So they erased our ancestors and gave us saints. That's how they taught us self-hate. So they want you to pray to St. Mary, St. John, St. Luke, and that, but they don't want you talking about Obatala, Shango, Yamaya, Oshun, Ogun, Oya. They don't want you talking about that. This is how they keep us in a cycle, a never-ending cycle. That's why the names alone are so much powerful. That's why when people go back to the mother continent and they go, especially certain places, and they go back where the ancestors were, how they got to the ships, to the door of no return, and they go and perform rituals and take on a renaming ceremony to reconnect themselves back to their land, to their people, to their spirituality. Somebody asks, who is they? The oppressor, the colonizers. Maybe just enter the room and you're not acquainted with this live stream. That is who they are. So remember, this room is about returning to our ancestral roots, returning to our ancestral wisdom, returning back to our spirituality pre-colonization. So if that doesn't speak to your spirit, this is the wrong place for you. FYI. Just want to let you know. So they erased our name, gave us biblical name, erased our rituals, gave us hymns, they erased our ancestors, gave us saints. Then they erased the God within us. That was the last straw. They erased the God within us. And then they gave us a God above us to look in the sky and pray to a God above. That is what they taught us. Funny thing is, people like to say that the colonized religions that we were given and that some of us, our ancestors have practiced after being colonized, they say, well, we practice that all the time. Well, how you can't find that in our records of the past if that's true? Why can't we find that in the records of our past? That we practice these things way back then. Can't find records. But you can find records of African spirituality, African cosmology. You can find records of Ma'at. Some of their temples are still there. The hieroglyphics. You can go to every indigenous land. There are still remnants. Even though they burned things down, destroyed some things. Don't be mistaken that our ancestors gave everything up to them. Don't be led into that belief, that false narrative. Because all our ancestors wasn't gullible to give them everything. They held something sacred that they didn't give to the colonizers. So they erased the God within us, gave us a God above us, and a God that looked nothing like us. Think about it. Why would we worship a deity that don't look nothing like you? let's put on our critical thinking skills hat. Greetings, everybody who just joined, who are new here. Welcome to the Soul Awakening Sanctuary live stream session. Somebody asked my opinion on the mass awakening that's happening in the energy shift. In the beginning of 2025, I gave a prophecy that this is the year, this is the time frame where we're piercing through the fog, through the lies, through the BS that we've been given. We're piercing through the fog. This is the age of Aquarius. People are waking up. People are seeing things for as it is, not as it has been programmed in us and conditioned to see things as. So that is what's happening. People are beginning to see all of the fallacies, all of the holes in the organized religion story. And they're starting to say, hey, things are not lining up. Something's not matching here. And people are wanting and beginning to investigate. Well, I was told this, but is this really what it is? Because as I spoke yesterday, if you missed yesterday's live, go to YouTube, you can go there and catch it. The replay. That we have been told to believe in blind faith and blind obedience, which is dangerous and harmful to us because it takes away your critical thinking skills. It takes away your right to investigate, to question. Yes, that's why Sabrina took a lot of stories in the Bible. They took it, plagiarized African spirituality, rebranded it, repackaged it, whitewashed it, then it handed it back to us and say, this is the true religion. What we did is we traded, or it was imposed upon us so that we forget what we knew was true all along. So the God of colonization was not the loving source of all things that we knew. The God of colonization was a white male judge with a long white beard, white long hair, sitting on a throne somewhere. Does that sound familiar? Sounds like Greek mythology? Zeus? This is what they begin to give us. Talking about the God of colonization. It was a white male judge, a punisher, a ruler, created in the image of the kings and emperors of Europe. And just like those colonizers, those kings and emperors, the God they gave us demanded absolute obedience, absolute allegiance, or else you'd be thrown into the fire. Let's think about that. We was taught, worship me or suffer for eternity. How does that sound like a loving creator that forces you into, coerces you into worship and loving them, or forced damnation? If your loving partner told you, I want you to love me this way, or else I'm leaving, giving you ultimatums, and I'm going to make your life a living hell? Does that sound like a loving partner to you? Answer me in the comments. Does that sound like a loving creator, source, love light to you? Here I'm wasting juice on me. Does that sound like a loving creator to you? All right, one say nope, somebody else say no. No, it's not a loving creator that would give you ultimatums. A loving partner giving you ultimatums. Because everybody have a right to choose. Either you love me enough to do right by me, or you don't love me at all. That's right, that's a narcissist. That's what that is. Someone that's self-absorbed. So you can tell the people what kind of people they are by the God they worship, by the deity they serve. And the God of colonization is a maniac. The God of colonization is ruthless. The God of colonization approved genocide. The God of colonization approved chattel enslavement. The God of colonization said it's okay to enslave another human being because they are less than human. Because once you make a group of people inhumane in the eyes of the world, then it's open season. The God of colonization told and said it was okay because African people were created to serve white supremacy. That's the God of colonization. Let's put things in perspective. And that's not divine love, family. That is psychological warfare. So in order to progress and move to the future, to come up from under this spell that has been casted over us as a people, we have to understand what we're up against. We're dealing with psychological warfare. Divide and conquer. Domination. Subjugation. European powers wanted to control and subjugate melanated people, to cut up Africa into pieces, and to divide it and conquer it. And that's what they did at the Berlin Conference. They split up Africa. They put walls where there was none. They put lines where there was none. They redid the map. It was a hostile takeover. So you really got to back up and focus your lens to really get the scope, the real picture. They came in acting like they were peaceable people with an olive branch. Coming acting like they was helpless. And then we took them in because our people, we by nature, we're loving people. We're giving people. We're all about community. We're all about the village. We're vigilant, but it's all about the village for us. It's all about doing what's kind. And then what they did, once they learned a little bit, they said, oh, what's this? And because we love people, we tell them what it is. Oh, what's that? We told them what it is. And guess what they did? Then they learned enough. And so we could take these people over because we befriended them. And that's when they striked. And became, they were always enemies, but that's when they showed their hand. That they weren't there for any other purpose other to divide and conquer, to subjugate, to dominate. And that's what you have to do. You have to be careful when you're dealing with the people who believe in domination, that is their job in the world, is to dominate everywhere. When you're dealing with the people that have a mindset like that, you have to be careful and be sure of who you're dealing with. Psychopaths on the loose. So this isn't just any kind of warfare, it's psychological warfare. And they didn't just enslave our ancestors' bodies, they colonized our souls. So now, though the physical chains are off, we still out, the invisible chains are still there on our minds, on our brains. It affects the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we view the world, the way we look at ourselves, the way we look at each other, the standard of beauty, XYZ, XYZ. On and on and on. It affects us. So to the point now that Black and brown communities, our people, we saying, oh, I can't wait till my child get 18 so they can move out the house. When from African cosmology, which stands for the way of the Africans, the way of our people, we didn't think like that. We had massive lands and all. We lived in a compound, all of our children. They build their house, we all together, living together, sharing together. We didn't put our elderly in homes to be taken care of by strangers. Why? Because we lived communally and we took care of each other. Grandmother lived with you. She helped take care of the kids, to help you with when a mother gave birth. Greetings, Miss Kia. When the mothers gave birth, they didn't have to worry about now taking care of the kids and the other kids they had. No, because the ancestors, their mothers, the older mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers were there to help her care for the child in those infant years. It takes a village to raise a child. That is our motto in Black spirituality. It takes a village in African cosmology and worldview. From our perspective, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to have community. It takes a village to have unity. It takes a village to fight the good fight, to stand up for each other. But now we've adopted a Western worldview of it's my for and no more. Every man for himself and God for us all. Where in the world did we learn that from? Because that's definitely not the African way of viewing the world. Viewing each other, our community. So after the Berlin Conference, they set up dividing lines, dividing us. And today we're yet divided. You ever looked at Dominicans, Hispanics, Haitians, Jamaicans, all these other people, when they come to the USA, do you see how they get along? Do you see they find one another? They help one another? Oh, you just moved here? Oh, come on, I'll help you get a job. Or I'll help you find a place to stay. Or come over to the house, I'll feed you till you start working. Or we got an extra bed, you come on stay here. We meet some people in the same village. Come on over here. I'm gonna help you get started. I'm gonna help you get a job. I'm gonna help you get set up. Through my years of working in the nursing field, I met a lot of my African brothers and sisters from the motherland. Haitians, African, Nigerian, South African, from everywhere. Jamaicans, different islanders. And you know what we would do? We connect. And you know what they do amongst themselves? And if they love and trust you, they'll join and add you into the pot. They have what they call a susu. Some groups call it different things, but a susu. Where everybody put this a certain amount of money in the pot. And every month, one person gets all the money that came in that month. Next month, everybody is paying dues, pay their susu. Whether it's $100, $500, whatever it is. And one of my co-workers, he was Nigerian, he was in the susu. He said, that's how I bought that brand new car outside in the parking lot. Cash. Another one, she was from Jamaica. She was in the susu. She said, that's how I bought my home. Cash. That's how I furnished my home. Cash. Because of the susu. They put their money in the pot. If you ever see, a lot of people like to say Africans, those that come from the continent are lazy. Now, when black folks, African born here in America, say that about your African brothers and sisters from the continent, you're doing the same thing that white supremacists and racists say about you. You're doing the same thing that the oppressors say about you to your own people. Because the truth be told, the Africans that I've met from all over the world, some of the hardest working people I know, they're always taking double shift, always working overtime. And guess what? They're paying their susu. They're putting their money in the pot with everybody else. They saving money for people back home. They building a house back home. They building a house here. They doing this, putting their children. But some of us have gotten so caught up in the Western world, trying to chase the quote-unquote American dream. Are y'all with me? So these are the things that we're having to fight. This is what we have to begin to change our mindset, how we view one another. Always thinking somebody out to get us. Oh yes, honey, Sabrina, you're right. They don't show us the good parts of our homeland. They always show us the bad. See, that's how they get us. They show us help feed the hungry in Africa and show those who got malaria and different things. Well, how'd they get it, honey? Because some of these diseases was unknown to our ancestors until the colonizers got there and brought it with them. Let's be real on that. A lot of these diseases was unknown to our ancestors, but they brought it when they came to our lands. That's how some of them unalived whole villages. And if you think they won't do the same thing to us, you sadly mistaken, honey. You got to be vigilant. And I'm not talking conspiracy theory, whatever they call it. Or we just being real and dealing with the facts. Greetings, 8th House Awakening. Hope you're doing well. So good to see you, love. So we have to be aware. This is what they did. And so many people hate me talking about our records of the past because it forces them to look at the truth. It forces them to now reevaluate the lies they've been told. And the funny thing, you have melanated people talking about, thank God for chattel enslavement, because we would have never known God, never knew about Jesus if it wasn't for slavery. What kind of cooning is this? How you gonna say thank God for slavery because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't know about God or the Lord? How you gonna say something like that? Because remember the King of Belgium, when he sent the missionary, he said, you're not going there to teach them about God because they already know about God. When the King of Belgium sent his missionaries to the Congo, he said, I'm sending you there not to teach them about God because they already know about God. They don't need you to tell them about God and spirituality. They already know that. I'm sending you there to colonize them, to give them the Bible, to preach about a heaven and a hell and all that, so that they will be receptive when we take their land and their resources, to condition their minds. So don't worry. Oh, they stealing your resources. Oh, don't worry, because you got a home in glory, a mansion. You're going to walk on streets of gold. Wear a white robe. Whoop tickets, fairy tales, lies that they sold us and conditioned us. So when they did it, we would say, oh, it's okay. If someone if they take your scarf, give them your coat. If they slap you on one cheek, give them the other. This is the conditioning to make you accept suffering as if it's godly. To make you accept suffering as if it's holy. To accept being mistreated. This is the conditioning that has taken place. Because I tell you, if you slap me on one cheek, you better make it your best shot. Because believe me, honey, when I give you what I got, I'm going to knock the fire and the wind out of you. I don't teach that mess. That's what got us in the problem now. That's on God, my grandmama, my mama, on me. If you do it, you better make it your best shot the first time, because you ain't going to have another one. That's why this ain't no Gandhi stuff here. There's a reason why they love and I know some of y'all not gonna like this. There's a reason why they liked Dr. Martin Luther King and they crucified Malcolm X. There's a reason, honey. Don't be fooled. It's a reason why. That's why, Sabrina, we were under spells. That's how they was able to get away with so many things for sure. That's how they was able to do it. Honey, Rayon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name, honey. I'm telling you, ain't no Gandhi stuff over here, honey. Got one time to try it. And that's your warning and your grace period. Because after that, Honey, I'm gonna tell you, even God can't help you, honey. I'm gonna tell you like that, even God can't help you, because God is in me, and I'm gonna get you. Plain and simple, period. Because I let go of the conditioning, give one cheek, give the other. See, that ain't talking about. See, you got to put things in context. That's not talking about your oppressor. You don't give your oppressor the other cheek. That's your people. That's your village. That's your family. To be tolerant, to be understanding. Not so quick to give up on your people, your family, your community. That's not talking about what you do in war and when you're dealing with oppressors and colonization, dealing with enemies. So you got to put it in context. And they repackaged it and rebranded to condition us that say it's okay if somebody harm you. No, it's not okay. That's like set boundaries. Not only protecting somebody else, it's protecting your own self and your own community, your own family. That's why I tell people all the time, be careful when you're selling your property to the oppressor, selling your property to those who are going to come in and they're going to gentrify. This is a fancy word for colonization. They're going to colonize your community, and next thing, they're going to have all y'all out of there. And it won't be your community as you once knew it. Ooh, let me move on. Let me move on. That's right. Y'all East City doing this, the same thing to the south side of Chicago. Yeah. That's right. We're connected to our ground. So we got to take care of it, make it sacred. Hey, your mom and daddy, your grandparents, whatnot, they done passed land down through generations. Now you got it. What you do, you throw it away. You sell it. And you ain't even sell it to somebody else in the community. You sell it to an outsider, the highest bidder. And it has destroyed our communities. It has destroyed our people. One by one, they pick them off. That's why some of our ancestors put the land in what they call heirs property. So one person can't sell it. Everybody got to come in agreement and sell it. Some people don't know that's why black families start putting in heirs property. So you would not sell it. And if you did sell it, the whole family got to come together and agree. On my father's side, that's what they had, nothing but heirs property. I mean, whole blocks and blocks and blocks, nothing but heirs property. And you couldn't do nothing with it till everybody approved it. And they put it in heirs property, so if you can't do nothing with it, you can't sell it. Unless everybody agreed. But now, once the older generations start transitioning to the other side, people start losing their connection to the land, stop losing their connection to their ancestor roots. And they say it's just land, honey. I can move anywhere. And this is why we've desecrated. And many of our ancestors are very disappointed in us. I'm going to say that again. Many of our ancestors are very disappointed in us because we have abandoned them. We have abandoned their hard work. So let's talk about spiritual amnesia. Let's talk about spiritual amnesia. Because spiritual amnesia is what happens when you forget who and what you really are. I'm going to say it again. Spiritual amnesia is what happens when you forget who and what you really are. This is what has happened to us. We have forgotten. We have forgotten. Ain't nobody more religious than black folks. I don't care on whatever corner of the earth. Ain't nobody more religious than black people. White folks, they go to church, they put out, go home. Black folks be there till noon at night. But a lot of the reason why we do that, you got to go back to child enslavement and find out why. Because some of my ancestors told me why. I used to say, why all these churches starting at 12 noon? 11 and 12 o'clock. These white churches starting at 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. Why we start at 12 noon? Why we have funerals late in the afternoon? 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Funerals. Then those who've gone on to be ancestors now, they said because during child enslavement, we couldn't have church till after the slave master gave the approval. After this service, they let us go have church. So that's where the late start and the 12 noon and stuff started coming from. We want to bury our dead, we had to wait till the evening time, the afternoon. That's where some of that came from. And a lot of times with the staying in church all that time, they taught me that because as long as they was in church, they didn't have to go back to the fields. So they stayed in church as long as they could because they didn't have to go back to the field as long as they was in church. So that I'm going to sit here, hoot and holler, shout, be colonized, be conditioned, as long as it keep me out the hot sun in the fields. See, a lot of things why we still do it today and we see it happening today, we have no clue the roots of it. Because we have been taught blind faith and blind obedience so that we no longer question. We do not use our critical thinking skills. We do not investigate. It takes away our spiritual autonomy. That's right, Sabrina. Those random questions that come to your mind. Why in the world we do this? Why do I believe that? Something don't seem right about this. It's because your spirit is saying something's not right about this. That's how you know you're awakening. When certain doctrines and dogmas and teachings and belief systems that's been imposed on you, that you start questioning them. Wait, what's something about this? It ain't about questioning your faith. It's about decolonizing your faith. That's what it is. Because we are spiritual people by nature. We didn't decolonize the oppressors to come and tell us that. We already knew that. It's time to decolonize the faith. And when you begin to wake up, you cannot unsee what you saw. All the lies the pastors have taught. And I tell many people all the time, if your pastor has been to seminary, I'm not talking about no little Bible college, because that ain't, no, not no little Bible college that somebody having out their church kitchen. If they've been to real seminary, honey, they know the truth. They know the history of how the Bible came to be. And it wasn't written by holy men of old. Oh, somebody said cemetery. My former pastor, Reverend Knight, he used to say that. He said, oh, cemetery. Oops, I mean seminary. And we would all laugh. And so they've been to seminary. So, honey, they know the real deal. but they're not going to preach it in their churches because it's not good for business. The truth is not good for business. And that's why I don't worry about nobody coming here trying to tell me I'm sending people to hell, I'm teaching heresy, or honey, I done been there, done that. I know everything that you know, but guess what? You don't know as much as I know because you still colonized. I know all the tricks in your bag. You don't know all that's in mine. Because I done read your playbook, I done studied, researched thoroughly. So I know every angle you come in. But let's leave the antics out of it and let's deal with the truth. Because the truth is, you are black first before you're anything else. And black Christians seem to hate to understand that. Before you are a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, or anything, Hinduism, Buddhist, whatever, before you're any of that, before you're a Republican, before you're a Democrat, before you're a libertarian, before you're anything, you are black. You are African. You're that first. Then you're anything else that you decide to convert to or add on. Greetings, Toots. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So good to see you, as always, dropping in on us. So that's what you got to know. I am number one, first black, then I'm anything else. And if you can't understand that, beloved, you are still asleep. You're still under the spell of colonization. Greetings, everybody. Let's do a power tap. Let's take a moment to do a power tap. Everybody, do a power tap for me. Tap the screen till the confetti come loose. Tap, 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 tap. And share this live out to as many people as you can. Press those hearts. Comment, engage. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. That's right, Sabrina. A lot of our ancestors say, all I got to do is stay black and die. Because you're black first. But you have these colonized black Christians, they have a colonized mind, church brain, and it's ate up with acid. Talk about, no, I'm a Christian first, but before I'm anything. It ain't about color. If you don't think it's about color, color is a construct started by white supremacy. Let's start there. Calling yourself black, let's start there. Who taught you that you were black? You're melanated. You're children of the sun. Telling you that you the color of a crayon in the box. That's right, it is about color. But we love to believe in these illusions that have been set up for us and imposed upon us. That's why so many people are afraid to decolonize their faith and deconstruct religion. They're afraid to ask the hard questions because they will be faced with the truth that I have been lied to for so long. I have been led to believe one thing, and now I'm finding out it ain't true at all. We are melanated people, children of the sun, and we are the progenitors of everyone else. We are the mothers, fathers of every other ethnic group. That's right, they're afraid to change. And colonization, whole job is to keep you locked in the spell. That's right. And our melanin does protect us. That's right. You find the truth of spirituality, honey, not in the churches. Because the church is another plantation. The church is a graveyard where they colonize you, they call you sheep. See, anybody that call you sheep, but they're calling you docile. They're calling you dumb. They're saying that you don't have the intelligence to lead yourself. That you can't trust your own intuition. You got to be led, taught. Honey, we grown people. Why can I not make my own choices? I'm not a child. Preachers talking about obey those have rule over you. Who you? You? You ain't got no rule over nobody. You can't even rule your own house, honey. You can't even rule yourself. You don't even have self-mastery to tell master no, that you ain't going to be a part of his program. So how you going to want to rule somebody? You haven't self-mastered yourself. That's why you sleeping with all the sisters in the church. And your wife on the front row and your girlfriend next to her. This moral superiority, this purity culture that we've been led into. And the ones that taught it to us never lived it a day in their life. The colonizers that taught us these Puritan gospel, this Puritan way of life, this moral supremacy. Thank you for the gift, beloved. They ain't never lived it a day in their life. How are you going to preach to somebody and claim a higher ground moral superiority when you were taking our grandmothers and doing the worst atrocities? Taking our ancient fathers and were doing atrocities to them in front of their wives and children. To put fear in that woman's eyes that say that, see, this not a man because see what I'm doing to him? This ain't your man. I'm your man. To put fear in that woman's eyes to change how she saw her husband, her man. To put fear in the children's eyes to see that your father can't even protect you. This is what they did. And guess what? Many of the women that was passed down to them, the way of viewing me is passed down. What do you think welfare is all about? That whole system. That whole system was set up to keep white supremacy still in place. Said, I'm your man still. I'll give you a place to sleep. I'll feed you, but you can't have your man in your house. I'm the only man you need. But we don't think about it like that. Oh, yes, initially it wasn't meant for us. And the people that benefit from these things the most never been us. That's when everybody was up in the roar about DEI. Many of these things never was meant for us. And the ones that benefit from it the most is not us. Yes, some of us benefit, but the majority of the people that benefit from these programs is not us. It's them. But the way they spin it, the illusion they put it, is that we are lazy and we don't want to work and we want to live off the government. When in fact, we ain't never been afraid of work. We just need a level playing field, an opportunity, and we will outshine all you. But they don't want to do that, because if they do that, they will find out they are not superior at all. It's tight, but it's right. Slow, but it's sure. One thing for certain, two things for sure, and three things for you to know: that never trust the colonizer, the oppressor, and their descendants that follow in that path to ever teach you the truth, because they will not. You know, and I've heard over the years a lot of white people like to try to tell me, oh, but I'm not like my ancestors. They did that, but this is a new day and slavery is over. Well, you must have don't know about the prison system, because that is a new slavery. You must have don't know about police brutality, because that's all about white supremacy. When you do the roots, where the police that even come from? They gave those that hated us badges to police us. These are the things that we have to know. These are the things that they don't want you to know. These are the things that they don't want to teach you, to keep you believing the lie. That's why sacred self, when you really know yourself, the ancient African proverb, man, know thyself, non-gender Pacific, everybody know thyself. Then thou will know the universe and the gods and goddesses. When you really know who you are, you know that you're equal to all and worthy of all good. Ashe. Tiffany Smell said, I had to teach myself that. That's right. We have to, this is what decolonizing our faith and deconstructing is all about. It's about rewiring your brain, unlearning the lies, and reprogramming your mind for success, love, happiness, growth. That's right, Sabrina. I got that in my notes to touch on, that we are not born unworthy of God's love like they teach us. They teach us that. But it's a lie. So spiritual amnesia is when you forget who and what you really are. It's when you forget that you're divine. Not a sinner, but you're divine. It's when you forget that you are powerful. You're not weak. You're not less than. You are powerful. Spiritual amnesia is when you forget that you are directly connected to source. You are connected to the source of all things good and that created all things. You are connected directly. And you don't need a middleman. A middleman is not needed. And so when you begin to question, that is when your ancestor memory is starting to kick in. Your inner knowing starts to remember. When you start thinking about how your big mama or grandmother or great grandmother and great grandfathers, how they used to teach you to go out and pick certain plants. And then because they knew how to use it for its magical properties, its healing properties. And the kitchen was their laboratory where they mixed things together with love and prayer and say certain words, mix certain things together, gave it to you. And by the next morning, you was cleared of anything that you had. Without the West medicine. Because if the West medicine really cured you, you would need to refill your prescriptions. Oh, let me say it again. If the medicine that the West gives us really cured things, we would not need to refill prescriptions. It is only when we return to our ancestral roots, our ancestral memory, is when we are able to return to our own medicine. That can heal us. See, the colonizers, they taught us that we were sinful by nature, that we were born unworthy, that we needed to be saved. But let me tell you the truth, beloved. The moment you internalize that limiting belief, you start living in an unending cycle of guilt, fear, shame, and self-abandonment. And guess what? That cycle keeps coming back and keeps you coming back to the same systems that made you feel broken in the first place. Religion told you you're nothing without God. You ever heard somebody say that? I'm nothing without God. I'm nothing without the Lord. Y'all ever heard somebody say that? See, religion taught you were nothing without God. But spirituality teaches you God is nothing without you. Because you are God's expression. You are its expression in the earth. You are God manifested in flesh, having a human experience. You are an living expression of the divine intelligence. How could I be a sinner? That's right. The creator doesn't exist if the creation doesn't work. How the creator not going to love what he created? She created. They created. It created. And it's going to banish what they created to eternal damnation. Make that make sense. Because you are the breath, the vessel, and the spark of the divine. I'm going to say it again. You are the breath, the vessel, and the spark of the divine. And anything less than that is a lie. And colonized minds, when they hear you talk like this, like I'm talking, they hate it because they are bound by religion, by indoctrination, by programming, conditioning. And they want you to come back too because they're scared to step out. So they want to draw you back. But honey, let them be where they're at. Don't be led astray back into bondage. They used to sing a song back home in the Holiness Church. If my God freed you, why should you be bound? Woo! If your God, the divine source creator, free you, why would you go back? As Yeshua said, it's like a dog returning back to his vomit. Why would you go back to a dead place that had you conditioned that you was less than, where no truth was found there anyway? Why would you go back and abandon spirituality that brought you light, that brought you enlightenment, that brought you freedom? These are the questions to ask yourself. When people say they left spirituality and they went back in the church, my question is, did you ever leave? Did you ever leave? Because you cannot unsee what you saw once the light comes on. Some of us have been browbeaten, shamed, guilted back into returning back to the fold. To no longer use your own spiritual autonomy, to give it up to another entity to control you. So let's talk about the power within. The power that you were born with. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the power you were born with. Because here's the truth, beloved. Thank you, Lola Valentine. Valentine? Thank you. Thank you so much for the compliment. Here's the truth that they never wanted you to know. That everybody on this live or that will hear the replay, you were born powerful. You don't need to run after power. You don't have to seek for power. You were born powerful. But you was just duped in believing that you're not. You were born powerful. You were born divine. You were born as a continuation of the divine source itself. African spirituality taught you that. It taught us before any Bible ever existed. Before the colonizers came and brought their brainwashed, whitewashed religion, we honored Ma'at. We lived by universal principles and universal laws. We communed with the ancestors. We walked in Christ's consciousness before they gave it a name. We didn't need to chase God because we embodied God. It's our natural state to be God-like. But they told us otherwise. The colonizers told us otherwise. Religion, organized religion, patriarchy, it all told us something different. Told us otherwise. They told us that the divine was separate from us. God was holy and apart from us. But the divine was separate from us. That it was above us, beyond us, outside of us. And beloved, that's the biggest lie that ever been told. See, what the true lie is separation. The truth is oneness. I'm going to say that again for somebody on the back of the spiritual bus trying to come forward. The lie is separation. The truth is oneness. That we're all interconnected. That everything is interconnected. You, your community, the universe and cosmos, we're all interconnected. Nature, we're connected. To animals, they're connected. How do you think we're able, some animals understand us, able to communicate, even without words? We're connected. Beloved, if you don't never remember anything I ever teach, remember that you are not disconnected from the divine. That's number one. You are divine. You cannot be disconnected from what you are and who you are. You are divine, so you can never be disconnected from the divine. You are divine in form, in breath, and in being. You are divine. And so now we have to do the work of learning how to move from worship to embodiment. Because it's taught us to worship something outside of ourselves. So we got to learn to move from worship to embodiment. Let me break this down clearly. Worship keeps you looking outside of yourself. It keeps you looking upward instead of inward. Worship, it keeps you reaching outside of yourself instead of reaching within. Worship, from that perspective, keeps you begging for an opportunity, begging for understanding, begging for healing, begging for a new opportunity, and always seeking someone else's approval. But beloved, when you move from worship to embodiment, woo, see, embodiment is different. Embodiment says to you that I know God lives in me. I don't have to chase it. I am it. Let me say it again. Somebody didn't hear me. When you move from worship to embodiment, It is when you begin to say to yourself, I know the divine, God by all names known, lives in me. I don't need to chase it because I am it. That's the difference in us who embody than us who worship. Is that not what Yeshua says? Some of you worship and know not what of. But the time is coming where the true worshipers shall arise in spirit and in truth. Some got some spirit, but they ain't got no truth. Some got some truth, but they ain't got no spirit. But you got to have both, honey. See, Yeshua, which they commonly call Jesus, never came to be worshipped. Let me say it again for those in the back. Yeshua, whom you commonly call Jesus, never came to be worshipped. He came to model consciousness. The empire created a story that he came to be worshipped. So Yeshua never came to be worshipped. He came to model consciousness. He came to, as all other teachers come, to show us how to walk in truth authentically. Yeshua came to model consciousness, to show us how to walk in truth, how he came to show us how to heal, how to love, how to live in divine alignment, how to live in alignment with the divine mind. Not the whitewashed empire version they gave us to keep us docile, meek, and lowly. See, let me tell you this. All master teachers, spiritual masters, ancient prophets and prophetess, and mystics, and modern ones, all came and come to serve as living examples of how humanity can achieve complete oneness with the divine and embody the highest levels of consciousness. That's what Yeshua came, Buddha, all these major teachers. They came to teach how humanity can achieve complete oneness with the divine and embody the highest levels of consciousness. That's right. Yeshua was taught in Kemet. Oh, here Xavier go. He got church brain. Xavier Williams, he got church brain, and his mind is ate up with acid because the colonizers got him food. And he in my comments. According to his picture, he's a black man. But he's a damn confused black man. So he don't know who he is. He's God in flesh having a human experience. But here he is in my comments, quoting Bible scriptures. Like the Bible and the verses in the Bible came out of heaven and was dropped into somebody's lap. This is what happened when we are confronted with truth. We want to call other people liars. We want to call everybody derogatory names when we are confronted with the truth. That doesn't coincide with what Master taught you. That's the thing. Somebody say, hello, Queen, I'd like to date you. Sorry, I'm married, honey. I'm married, happily married. Thank you, though. Cute, but I'm married. God bless. So each master teacher, Tiff, I don't know what to say, honey. Toots, help me out. I don't know what to say, girl. All master teachers, spiritual masters, ancient prophets, prophetess, mystics, all came to serve as living examples of how humanity can achieve complete oneness with divine and embody the highest levels of consciousness. And guess what? You can do that too. You can do it too. You can achieve the highest levels of consciousness. Here are some practices that we use to do that, to embody your divinity. Breath work. Learn to control your breathing. Not only does it reduce stress, keep you level and anchored and grounded, but it helps you reconnect with spirit. Affirmation help rewire your mind. I was talking to my spouse last night about affirmations, because affirmation is the way in which we use to help rewire our brain from the lies that we've been taught. Colonization and organized religion tells you that you're a sinner. Organized religion said you were born in sin, shaped in iniquity, and you're in need of a savior. But spirituality and our ancient ancestral wisdom teaches us that we are divine and we're always connected to the divine, and you cannot be anything but divine because you are an expression of the divine intelligence, the source of all things. You're a divine expression of that. So you can't not be that. You are a creation of the Creator, so you can never be disconnected from your Creator. And so when you say affirmations, you reinforce the truth over yourself and over your life, and replace the indoctrination and those limiting beliefs that has been imposed upon you. That's why it's sacred stuff. Affirmation are the spoken word yet manifest. And when we affirm it as if it's already happened right now in the present. Now it's going to happen. No, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continual basis. Amen and ashe. Not that I'm going to get it. No, I already got it. And it keeps coming in. And you keep affirming it to yourself. You keep believing it. You keep speaking it. You keep claiming it. That it's already mine. It's not going to happen. It's already happened. Money already in my bank. See, in the what was they called, the prosperity gospel preachers. So they had part of it right, but they didn't have all the whole facts. Greetings, Dr. Stacey Anderson. Hope you're doing well. So good to see you, darling. Hope you're having a great week so far. So they had part of it about naming and claiming, but they didn't teach you how to do it. It was through affirmation, declaring the truth over yourself. Thank you for the sharing the line. This is how we reinstate the truth over ourselves to replace the lies that we've been told. So breath work to reconnect yourself with spirit, affirmation to rewire your brain from the lies and replace it with truth, ancestral altar work. The church teach you that it's an abomination, it's evil to have an altar in your home, but they got an altar in the church. All is well, darling. They don't want you to have an altar at home, but they got an altar at church. When truth be told, you are the altar, honey. That's right, Sabrina. It's only good when they do it. When you do it, it's a problem. So we got to unlearn that, honey. If it's good, what the old folks used to say, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So your ancestral altar work, because it helps you to stay grounded in your lineage. To not forget where you come from, what people you're made of, what stock you come from. You didn't come from a lazy people. Oh, y'all Easter, come on, you're going to get me in trouble. They talking about not having altars at home and ancestor veneration is evil, yet they have what they call Holy Communion, where they eat a wafer, some crackers, and some juice or wine in honor of the death of Yeshua, whom they call Jesus. Make it make sense. And the funny thing, greetings, Brother McKnight. The funny thing is that what they call the Last Supper of the Holy Communion was not that. They were having Passover, which has nothing to do with the church make it to be. Nothing. Passover had to do with the Hebrew faith. But see, unlearning the lies that we've been taught. So breath work, affirmation, ancestral altar work, silence and meditation. So that you can hear the small voice of the divine within speaking to you. It's in the stillness that the voice of the divine speaks within you to give you the answer that you seek. Let me pull this out. I don't know why I just don't have it out. Well, I have it in this drawer because I don't like a lot of clutter rather. But it's this affirmation. I was telling my spouse about it last night that I often say on here, and I give to people. This is an affirmation that I give. The source of my answer and guidance is already within me. The source of my answer and guidance is already within me. The source of my answer and guidance is already within me. Thank you for the heart. The source of my answer and guidance is already within me. So now I settle my spirit and receive my answer and guidance from within. Ashe. So if you're seeking guidance, if you need an answer, if you're faced with an issue or a problem or a potential situation, instead of trying to seek for the answer, instead of trying to worry and anxiety getting high and you confused and you're going to this one and that one, say this affirmation. The source of my answer and guidance is already within me. The source of my answer and guidance is already within me. The source of my answer and guidance is already within me. So now I settle my spirit and receive my answer and guidance from within. Ashe. And sit in that stillness and meditate. And I assure you, when you affirm this with intention, with feeling, with your emotions, you will receive your answer and guidance from within. You will be given the right, correct answer and solution to everything you face. So silence and meditation to hear the still small voice, to drown out the noise of the outside world. Because everybody's trying to tell us what to do. But everybody ain't you. You need to hear your own spirit within you talk to you and tell you what to do so that you can walk in divine alignment. Not according to what people say. I always tell people, when people tell you, honey, if I were you, I wouldn't do it. Stop them right there. Or, first thing first, you're not me, so let's start there. And 9 times out of 10, those who say, if I was you, I wouldn't do X, Y, Z. Honey, if the shoe was on the other foot, they'd do that and more. Trust me, been there, done that. So don't rely on everybody's say over and into your life. Trust the divine presence in you to direct and guide you. And conscious action is the last step to help you embody divinity. Conscious action that aligns with truth, justice, and love. As they used to say in the church, in the Bible, book of Hebrews, faith without works is dead. So you have to have conscious action, intentional, that aligns with truth, justice, and love. You got to do something. Me and my wife were talking yesterday when I was picking them up from work and we were coming home. Yeah, I used to say, my dad would say that, but that was his way to not tell me what to do. Yes. And I was telling her, I said, she was telling me rather about she saw where somebody said they, on the first of the month, according to our ancestors' teaching, that you blow cinnamon in your house. Well, this man said he blew cinnamon in his house, and the next day he got evicted. And I laughed, and my wife said, "Well, honey, it had to be more than that." I said, "Yes, honey, because the old folks used to say you got to give God something to work with." Anybody heard that saying before? You got to give God something to work with. You may have cleaned your house from back to front, and you may have blown cinnamon in your house in your intention. But if you weren't paying your bill and being a good steward of your money, blowing cinnamon ain't going to do you no good. Because your intentions are not right. You blow cinnamon all you want, honey. Honey, you needed to do some more workings to stop that eviction. And my wife said something, and I laughed. She said, all he needed was 7 days. If he had 7 days, honey, he could have worked out that eviction. I said, you better tell it. All he needed was 7 days before he blew that cinnamon to do a working to not only bring in his intention, but to stop the eviction notice. Sometimes we use our spiritual tools incorrectly. You go into people asking them, am I going to find love? Am I going to get married this year? Do Bobby love me? Do Janice love me? Do Mary think I'm cute? All these different things, honey. What you need to be using your spiritual tools for, and these different people who can help you, you need to be asking, how can I learn to love myself? How can I learn to heal myself from all of this trauma? That's what you need to be worrying about, honey. Not if John Doe loved you. Because it don't mean nothing if he loved you if you don't love yourself. It don't matter nothing if Mary Sue loved you if you can't even see past your own insecurities and heal your trauma. Going to ask if your marriage is going to work out. Honey, if you cannot resolve those issues that's within you, your trauma from your childhood when your parents broke up and you had a divorce, if you have not dealt with that, it doesn't matter. Because that alone will help shipwreck your marriage because you haven't worked out those problems within yourself. You need to be asking, how can I stop and heal myself and stop from always self-sabotaging every good thing that come in my life? That's what you need to be going to those healers and priestesses and priests and prophets and conjurers or whatever title they calling seers to help you use the spiritual tools for what's going to benefit you, not for frivolous things. Because what's for you is for you, baby. And if they want to walk out your life, let them. Because you don't need nobody there who don't want to be there. So you don't need no spell or no working to entrap nobody to stay with you. Because all you're doing is tying a ball and chain of confusion and recklessness to your life. You're just tying yourself up, soul ties, to tragedy and trauma. Woo! Glory. That's for somebody. So stop trying to do it working to make somebody fall in love with you. Stop trying to do it working to try to get somebody to stay connected to you, honey, because half the time those people don't need to be connected to you. Half the time that's just your lust, not love. Woo! It's not love, it's your lust. And some things may have broke you, but it fixed your vision. It helped you see clearer. It may help you pierce through the fog and break and shatter the illusion. Because some people are not with you because you're a good, kind, loving soul. They are with you for what they can get from you, for the value you bring to their life. Woo! I feel spirit. Somebody tugging on me in this room today. So learn to fall in love with yourself before you're worrying about somebody falling in love with you. That's right, Yaisha. Some people are energy vampires. Always sucking your energy. Always draining you. You carrying people that you can't even carry yourself. You haven't learned to put boundaries in place to keep you protected. Somebody trying to do a working to have a child when you haven't worked out your own childhood trauma. Why are you trying to reproduce and you have not worked through your own childhood trauma? Answer that question for yourself. Woo! I felt the spirit on that one. So we have to reevaluate our own personal priorities. A lot of people trying to bring somebody else into the world when they haven't figured out why they want to do that. What is your purpose for bringing another life into the world? Why are you really trying to do this? Is it because society told you when you're a certain age and your biological clock is ticking? What if this is not for you? What if it's not, the stars are not aligned for you to do that? It's not in your deck to do. Have we consulted the spirit for what it is we're trying to do? That's right, they need a friend and they want to be loved. But some people have children because they're saying, oh, I want somebody who's going to love me and be here unconditionally. Do you think that's a mistake ready to happen? That's a disaster waiting to happen. Because guess what? Children will grow up and they will go and become grown and live their life. And you may hear from them when they hear from them. That's not good enough reason. These are things we have to look in the mirror and ask ourselves truthfully, honestly. Be real with ourselves. Face the mirror. Face the music. Really ask the hard questions of ourselves. As a spiritual life coach, I'm only pointing it out. It's up to you to do the work. It's up to us to really do the work. So we have to do the work of reclaiming who we are, not what they told us. The worst thing in the world is you can do is lie to yourself. You may lie to everybody else on the face of the earth, but to lie to yourself is a whole nother level, honey. To convince yourself of the lie that you've told everybody else is a whole nother level. So if you can be honest with anybody, be honest with yourself first. And when you're honest with yourself, that is where you can begin to move on. You can begin to see things happen in your life. But you gotta be honest with yourself. Gotta break the spell. And only you can do that. Only you can do that. Only you can do that. All right, everybody. I love you all so much. I got to run. If you just came at the end of the live stream and you want to go back and watch the replay, go over to YouTube because we are streaming live simultaneously on YouTube at Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael. And if anytime you miss our live session or a day, you can go over and watch the replay. We love all of you. We ask that if you love what you hear on the live stream and you want more than just a live stream, we invite you to join the Soul Awakening Sanctuary Movement. If you're on TikTok, you can go to my page and press the email button. Send us an email. Let us know you are interested in becoming a community member. We'll send you the information that you need so you can join this spiritual community and you can avail yourself to all the amenities therein. One of the biggest amenities of joining and becoming a member of our spiritual community is that you get to have a session with me, a free, I don't know if it was a 30 minutes or a 1 hour session. I keep forgetting if it's a 30-minute or 1 hour session. Let me look it back up. Honey, I got so many totals here. And it's a time trying to find one singular one. Thank you for the gift, beloved. Was this your first time being here, Sabrina? Let me know. Let's see here. Lord, can I find it? Have mercy. Wait a minute. Let me go to the email because that's a few people have inboxed me. So let me go to the email, see if I can find it. When I sent somebody the email. Oh my Lord. Oh dog. It's not in, I don't have this particular email address connected to this iPad. Yikes. Oh, it was your first time? Wonderful. I'm so happy to see you. Follow us and stay connected. We love new friends. We love new people that join this live community in which we are building family. Those of us that are learning together, growing together. And let me tell you, if you're trying to decolonize your faith and deconstruct from harmful theologies, indoctrination, colonization, honey, you can't do it by yourself. I'm just here to tell you. It take a village, it take a community. Because sometimes your family, as I talked yesterday on our live stream session, sometimes your family gonna isolate you. They're gonna call you crazy. They're gonna say that you done and being bewitched. They're gonna say all kind of things to you. So communities like this or spaces like this virtual sanctuary, you can come in and find community. All of us are doing the same thing, trying to unlearn the lies and reconnect with our ancestral roots. You said, I can't. My whole family is wrapped up in Christianity. Honey, this is a safe space for you. Been there, done that. I know all about it. So it's like a community to support each other. Know that you're not alone in this. You're not alone in this. That you can make it. You don't have to go back into organized religion to find a community. You don't have to go back and find no. There's people out here that's rooting for you, that's supportive to you, where you can get spiritual advisory, teachings that will help you. And especially at first, it's gonna be hard, honey. It's gonna be tough. But honey, I'm living proof to tell you, you can do it. You talking to somebody born and raised Jewish and got with the Pentecostals and the holiness and apostolic, somebody who's a full-fledged, consecrated, affirmed bishop, an apostle. I done been through all of that, honey, preaching, teaching, all of that kind of thing. So, honey, I can tell you, honey, you can do it. Because I sure enough did. That's right. Honey, the more you learn each day, the more you study, the more you learn, the more you investigate, you find out you know less than you thought you did when you started. The next time you study and investigate, you learn more and you find out you know less than you thought you knew the day before. Because the lie goes so deep, honey. The cover up, the hostile takeover. It's so much. That's why I'm bound to be a lifelong student. Honey, see all these books? This book, that book, this book. I got so many books. And I don't have as many books now as I did have back in the day, honey, when I first started. Barnes and Nobles knew me by name, honey. And then when Amazon came along, honey, oh Lord. And before Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Books A Million, it was the library. Oh, honey, yeah, it will make you upset to find out I've been lied to all my life. Even my parents, they're like, maybe unintentional, but they did. So yes, the Soul Awakening Sanctuary Movement, in order to become a Sanctuary Soul Circle member, full community member, some of the services that are offered to you, you have a 1 hour spiritual life coaching session with me per month, one per month. An additional one with you receive a discount because you're a member. So, and many other things, amenities that you are available to you as being a community member. So if that's you can inbox us or you can email us at the Soul Awakening Sanctuary at gmail.com. That's right, Yaisha. We didn't know, but now we know. So we live and learn. And if you want to book a spiritual consultation with me, spiritual coaching, one-on-one session, you can do that. You can email us. You can inbox us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. But I think YouTube is the only place you can inbox. So anywhere else you can inbox us, let us know, and we will help you book a session with us. Serena says, yes, my kids' questions is what made me ask questions. Do they fix me? Yes. Children will ask questions, and then you as a parent now, you got to figure out an answer. Not give them no BS answer. Because children today are very wise and smart. You can't fly by the seat of your pants. You got to give substantial stuff. And I love that for you. All right. My wife has entered into the room. That must be my signal to get on off here. Hey, beautiful. She entered the room. So we are so thankful to everyone who joined us. This is a sacred and safe space for everyone. It's for everybody. Wherever you're from, whatever your background, whatever your tradition is. Gay, straight, bi, honey, whatever. God is love, and love is for everyone, and God is within you. Oh, honey, they're saying hello to you in the comments. I think she's on here. Her name is Jay. So if y'all, and y'all see her pop up. Yes, honey. My beautiful African goddess, honey. Yes, hallelujah. Love you all. Somebody was on here talking about, when I told them, honey, I was happily married, talk about, oh, respect to your husband. I said, ooh, I guess I won't mention, honey. Ain't no husband to be, honey. Ain't none around here. I got a wife, child. Praise the Lord. Praise God. Amen. Yeah, no husband, honey. But sometimes, Jesus people, the craziest thing is that, and I'm not gonna get on no soapbox because I gotta get on off here. But let me say this. That is the craziest thing. The main ones preaching homophobic, transphobic, and all of these things be the main one that have them at the hotel at night. They go to these church conferences, and they be doing the do. Hosting parties, pool parties, having orgies, and all other kind of things, honey. But you got the unmitigated gall to get up and preach. Honey, you trying to put the spotlight on people to keep the spotlight up on your ass. Ain't nobody crazy. Live in your truth, honey. Do what you do, babe. Do what you do, boo. But we all know the truth. The funny thing, honey, these people that they call themselves DL, you ain't DL if everybody know you gay, honey. All us know what you about. Honey, you fooling yourself. The only one you in the closet with is just yourself, honey, because everybody else know you, honey. Sorry, your closet is glass, and we all see. And what the old folks say, those that live in glass houses shouldn't throw no stones. Love yourself. Be who you are. Love yourself and be who you are. Because the divine loves you. God is in you. So God loves you. You are a creation of the Creator, and the Creator cannot hate what it created. Created you as you are. You don't need to you don't need to change for people. Learn to accept you. Don't worry, nobody else accept you. Because the world can accept you, but if you don't accept yourself, you're still in a world of problems, honey. Whether you're straight or not. Up here preaching all these homophobic messages, talking about June is Jesus' pride, all this foolishness. And your son on the organ is the sweetest one out of all of them, but here you up here preaching something. Come on, let's get it together. And remember, we are all of the same community. We are all black. Think about the rules. Don't never let any of this foolishness get us separated. And because you know what the sad thing about it is that what black people do, and I'm just saying this, I'm not gonna get on, what black people do is that they have an issue with the LGBTQ plus community. That's a part of their community because they're black. They're melanated. They're black and brown community. They're all a part. And you ostracize one part of your community because they don't live according to your rules and doctrines and your beliefs. That's not theirs. And the one you got ain't yours either because the colonizer gave it to you. If you're going to tell the truth on that. And you're doing to them just what the colonizers did to you. Hurt people. Oppress people, oppress other people. You talk about it's an abomination, honey. Well, the abomination been fanning over your choir forever, honey. Let's be real. We kept things hush hush and didn't say nothing. But if we be honest, if it wasn't for women and the children, we call the children the gays, if it wasn't for them, honey, you wouldn't have no church. You wouldn't have no religious institution. Because it's these two factors, these two of the human family that have kept religious institutions running. It's the women and it's the gays. Plain and simple. So if you really want to be honest, go ahead and stand 10, because today people are saying, I can love God, serve God, I can love the divine and love myself, and I don't got to be dealing with your homo stuff. I don't have to be dealing with your rhetoric, with your toxic belief system. I can go somewhere else. That's why they have affirming churches all over the place. For those who want to serve God and love themselves at the same time. Those who want to live their truth and love the divine that's within them. So word out to all the preachers out there. This month, I'm going to say this and I'm getting out of here. I'm getting off, I promise. My prayer for every preacher that's lying, getting married to cis women, knowing that you like to get bent or do the bending. Let this month be the month that you address your shadow and live in your truth. Let this be the month you stop being a hypocrite. Let this be the month that you face your fears and start loving yourself authentically. If you love cis women, but then you also love men, be honest. That's the problem. You're not honest, and that's what's caused confusion and disaster. Address your shadow this month. And if you do that, I'm gonna do like the old church saints would say, and the Lord God will bless you real good. All right, I love you all. It's always a pleasure to have you. We always here Monday through Friday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Not sure about tomorrow. Might be, might not. We'll see. But definitely Thursday, for the rest of the week, Thursday and Friday, we won't be live because Thursday I'm going to Detroit, Michigan. So if you live near Detroit, Michigan, or the surrounding areas, meet me in Detroit Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday, 7:30. Sunday, 12 noon. We'll be there. And it seems like they're having Pride that weekend too. So we'll be there having a spring revival, and I will be preaching and teaching in Detroit, Michigan at the Beams of Heaven Life Spiritual Church. So come out and meet me in person, see me, let me hug your neck, greet you. I'd love to greet you if you live in Detroit, Michigan, or the surrounding areas. And, you know, who knows? We may be coming to your city next. Who knows? We was in Orlando, Florida a month or two ago, and now we're in Detroit, Michigan this weekend. Who knows where the next stop is going to be? So we're moving around because many people are interested in this message. They are interested in awakening the God within. So even if you don't live in Detroit, Michigan, or the surrounding areas, I'm going to be live Friday night. I'm going to be live, and I'm going to be live Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to go live Saturday night because I'm not preaching. Greetings, bye-bye. Peace and blessing, love and light to you. So good to see you. But Friday night, I will be going live, and Sunday, 12 noon, I will be going live because I will be preaching and teaching and sharing during this meeting this weekend. I will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be preaching Friday and closing the revival out on Sunday. So if you can't be there, log on. I will be live. I'm not sure if it will be on TikTok or just YouTube. Either one. Follow me on all social media accounts at Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael on YouTube, especially because that's where all our long form content is. And we'll be live either on TikTok or YouTube Friday and Sunday. So join us. Love you lots. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace be with you. Love you all.